meeting to order.
Adequate notice of this meeting was provided
Yes.
and published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 7, 2022. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspapers posted on public bulletin boards and the Township website.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Here.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Here.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Here.
Councilwoman Ponterero.
Here.
Councilman Halloran.
Here.
Vice President Crate.
Here.
President Menachino.
Here. I'd like to take a moment now to salute the flag and a moment of silence. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you accept and file the reports, please?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the April 26th and the May 10th meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ponterero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Abstain April 26th, yes to the May.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, this evening, we have a presentation. I'd like to call up Marguerite Weiss and Council Vice President Crate.
Good evening, everyone. We're here tonight to bring awareness to dystonia. Dystonia Awareness Month is designed to help raise public awareness, understanding, and support for the disorder of dystonia, a neurological movement disorder similar to Parkinson's disease. It affects approximately 1% of the population, 1/3 of which are children, and recently more and more veterans are being diagnosed with this disease. Dystonia has an array of symptoms such as painful, prolonged muscle contractions, which are involuntary, abnormal, and often repetitive movements. These symptoms can significantly interfere with a person's daily life by impeding those affected from the ability to perform simple tasks such as the ability to walk, speak, get dressed, or control the posture of their head. Dystonia has limited treatments and currently has no cure and is often misdiagnosed, delaying access to the appropriate medical care and inspiring sufferers to live by the slogan, never give up. So we're here to bring awareness to that. We have Marguerite here who's going to speak to that, and on behalf of the council, I would like to present you with this resolution for Dystonia Awareness Month, and we're happy to hear your story and to make the public aware of what dystonia is and how it has affected you. Turn this over to you.
Hi, I'm Marguerite. I have dystonia. This is my husband, Gary. About 250,000 Americans suffer from dystonia. That's the third most common neurological movement disorder, with essential tremor and Parkinson's being first and second. Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, a.k.a. Carol Spinney, had dystonia. Keith Emerson, keyboardist from the rock band Emerson, Lake and Palmer, had musician's dystonia in his hands. Michael J. Fox has dystonia, as well as Parkinson's. Many folks are misdiagnosed, as I was. I went to chiropractors, orthopedists, physical therapists. Finally, I was diagnosed by a neurologist, and it was a big relief to have a name for my symptoms. I tried a myriad of medications, then was referred to a dystonia specialist, and as we tried more medications and Botox injections, my mobility worsened, and I ended up in a wheelchair and a scooter for 2 years. Nothing was working, so I was recommended for DBS, deep brain stimulation. So in 2016, I had brain surgery. I had bilateral electrodes with leads underneath my scalp that go to batteries, one under each clavicle. And for me, without DBS, my body twisted like this. I couldn't walk or stand up. It also affects this hand and my speech. If I were to turn my DBS off, eventually I would end up unable to walk or stand. This is my remote. I use this to check my battery levels. I also use it to turn myself on and off for EKGs, MRIs, or any surgery. And I also have very limited capability of up in my amp. My amplitude can be increased or decreased. I follow up with my neurologist every 6 months to have a system checkup and maybe a tune-up. My first batteries were good for 3 years. In 2019, I got new ones. These are rechargeable. They're good for another 10 years. And so now I recharge every couple of days, every day or two. This stays plugged in at home. And to charge up, I have a double-sided sticky adhesive. Just stick that on the battery, turn it on. When I'm full, it'll indicate on here with a picture. It takes about an hour on each side. I do that every couple of days. DBS has helped me immensely. I work full-time, and I'm able to move around independently. But there's no cure for dystonia. And to move, for me, it still requires effort, sometimes more effort than at other times. But some folks are not as lucky as I am. I'm here to advocate for people with dystonia, to spread the word, as many people have never even heard of it. With more awareness of dystonia, people who are suffering can get the help that they need, and quicker. And increased awareness will lead to increased research in hopes of a cure. To learn more, you can go to Dystonia Medical Research Foundation at dmrf.org. And thank you all so much for your time and for listening. Thank you, council members. Thank you, Mayor. And as Dystonia folks say, never ever give up. Thank you, dear.
No photo? Thank you. This brings us to ordinance on a first reading. 4-1.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 245 entitled Land Use to permit craft distilleries, winery tasting rooms, and instructional winemaking facility license holders as permitted uses in the Village Zone, the B2 General Business Zone, the B3 Highway Development Zone, and the M1 Light Industrial Zone.
Councilman Halloran.
Thank you, Council President. This ordinance came as a recommendation from the Land Use Committee. The ordinance was in place to allow breweries and is now being expanded to permit craft distilleries, winery tasting rooms, and instructional winemaking as permitted uses in the Village Zone, the B2 General Business Zone, the B3 Highway Development Zone, and the M1 Light Industrial Zone. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarera.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to ordinance on second reading. 5-1, please.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing a deed of easement to the Board of Education for the use of township property designated as Block 902, Lot 5, for parking and access to Midstream School.
Thank you. This ordinance facilitates the Board of Education request to make improvements to Midstream School parking lot, which encroaches onto Brick Township property on the north side. The Board of Education plans to resurface and improve the lot while reducing the depth of encroachment. Can I get a motion in a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Open to public. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pondereira.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this brings us to our consent agenda.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Thank you. Resolution 6-1.
Recognize Dystonia Awareness Month, June.
Councilwoman Crate.
This resolution recognizes Dystonia Awareness Month to help raise public awareness, understanding, and support of the disorder of dystonia, a neurological movement disorder similar to Parkinson's disease. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 6-2.
Authorize insertion of Chapter 159 Sustainable Jersey Grant 2022.
Thank you. Councilman Albanese.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the insertion of a grant in the amount of $2,000 as part of the 2022 Sustainable Jersey Grant funded by PSE&G Foundation. The grant award is for the creation of a pollinator garden at Havens Farm, where the community garden is located. The project will transform a large field into a monarch and pollinator meadow and adds a 20 by 20 foot plot of native pollinated plants in the middle of the community garden. This garden will attract native pollinator plants in the middle of the community garden.
Thank you. Resolution 6-3.
Authorize acceptance of Emergency Management Performance Grant.
Councilwoman
2022.
Pondereira.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the acceptance of an emergency management performance grant in the amount of $10,000 from the New Jersey State Police Office of Emergency Management. The grant is intended to enhance Brick Township's emergency management ability to prevent, protect against, respond to, and recover from acts of terrorism, natural disasters, and other catastrophic events and emergencies. These funds are used to offset the salaries of the township's Deputy Emergency Management Officer. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 6-4.
Authorize submission of grant application NJDOT 2023 Municipal Aid Program.
Mr. Mayor, please.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the submission of a grant application to the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the 2023 Municipal Aid Program. So this application is going to be is for the properties, which is to request to elevate portions of Bayview Drive from Drum Point Road to Vennard Drive. So this is one of those areas where we have that sunny day flooding problem where the water comes up during high tides. So we'd like to get these roads elevated, and we're asking for the state to provide a grant to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Resolution 6-5.
Authorize receipt of bids, computer and printer supplies.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for computer and printer supplies. The current contract is for 1 year and will expire on August 22nd, 2022. To date, we have spent approximately $19,000 to maintain the township's computer systems, printers, fax machines, etc. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 6-6.
Authorize receipt of bids, automotive parts, supplies, and repairs for vehicles under 15,000 GVW.
Thank you. Councilman Albanese.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution is to authorize the receipt of bids for automotive parts, supplies, and repairs for vehicles under 15,000 gross vehicle weight. The bid is for various repairs to township vehicles to be done on an as-needed basis.
Thank you. Resolution 6-7.
Authorize receipt of bids, roadway improvements, Riviera Beach Phase 3.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, please.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for the roadway improvements in the Riviera Beach Phase 3 project. And there's a lot of residents that have been talking about these roads for some time. It includes Jefferson Court, Lincoln Court, Madison Court, 20th Avenue, 21st Avenue, 23rd Avenue, Walnut Drive, and 22nd Avenue. Thank you.
Resolution 6-8.
Authorize award of contract through Bergen County Cooperative Workforce Ready Annual Maintenance and Support.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes an award of contract to SHI International Corporation Somerset in the amount of $138,742.32 for Workforce Ready annual maintenance and support. Workforce Ready is the township's time management and payroll system. This contract is being made through the New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Alliance.
Thank you. Resolution 6-9, please.
Authorize change order number 1, road improvements to Lawrence Drive and Old Silverton Road.
This resolution authorizes a change order in the amount of $3,955.40 in the contract with Z Brothers Concrete Contractors for the roadway improvement of Lawrence Drive, Old Silverton Road project. The change order is a result of an additional stormwater manhole structure, which is required to shift the layout of the proposed stormwater pipe system. Resolution 6-10, please.
Authorize renewal of a lease agreement with the Brick Township Police Athletic League.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the renewal of a lease agreement with the Police Athletic League for the property on Drum Point Road. The lease agreement is renewed for an additional 5 years. The PAL has a history of providing community programs and offers the recreational facilities on site to the PAL membership as well as the general public.
Thank you. Resolution 6-11.
Support increase of veterans' property tax deduction.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, please.
Thank you. This resolution supports an increase in the veterans' property tax deduction, which was established way back in 1947 and currently provides a deduction of only $250 to eligible veterans. This resolution lobbies for an increase to the property tax deduction to provide the men and women who have served our nation in the armed forces with a greater level of property tax relief than the current $250. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 6-12.
Support Senate Bill S. 1697 and Assembly Bill A. 757.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pontarera.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution supports a Senate and Assembly bill that allows volunteer firefighters to claim an additional exemption of $5,000 to be taken as a deduction from their gross income, provided they meet certain requirements. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 6-13, please.
Authorize 2022-2023 liquor license renewals without restrictions to P.J. Sweeney's Wine Outlet, the Windward Tavern, the Arrowhead Inn, Villa Victoria Restaurant, River Rock Sports Bar and Grill, Beacon 70, Spirits Unlimited, TGI Fridays, Forbes Wine and Liquors, Lenape Byrite, Bricktown Liquors, The Wine Shop, the New Jersey Wine Gallery, Brick Liquors, Inc., Byrite of Brick, Wine World, Joe Canal's Discount Liquors, the Brick Township Memorial Post number 348, American Legion, the Knights of Columbus, the Brick Elks, the Matitaconk River Yacht Club, Riviera Beach Boat Club, and the Shore Acres Yacht Club.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 6-14, please.
Authorize 2022-2023 plenary retail consumption liquor license renewals with restrictions. For
Count.
Applebee's, oh, sorry. You want me to say them?
Sure, you could do that. Go ahead.
For Applebee's, the Bonefish Grill, Buffalo Wild Wings, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Hula Hands, JSM at Brick, the Manaluking Road Ale House, the Outback Steakhouse, Red Robin, Trey Rosalita's, Tuscany, Urban Coal House, and Used to Be's.
Thank you. 6-15, bond releases.
615A is an inspection fund release for J&M Brick LLC on Brick Boulevard in the amount of $829.60. And B is an inspection fund release for awards of Bricktown LLC, Brick Boulevard, in the amount of $1,331.84.
Thank you. 6-16, please.
Tax collector?
Okay. 16A is 100% DAV refund and cancel taxes for Block 172, Lot 7.01. 16B is 100% DAV refund and cancel taxes for Block 1046, Lot 16. 16C is 100% widow of DAV refund and cancel taxes for Block 1026.01, Lot 2. 16D are tax overpayments for 2021, and 16E are tax overpayments for 2022.
Thank you. That ends our consent agenda. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Open to public for questions on the resolutions only, please. Yes, Ms. Cole.
Ann Carl, 18 Greenbriar Boulevard. In reference to, let me see what number this is, the roadway improvements, that would be 6.7. I'd like to know, do you have a 5-year plan about what you're going to do? When I worked for a big corporation, there were 5-year plans for everything in forecasting them. And I remember when I first came here, hearing of 5-year plans for roadway work like this. Greenbriar 2, where I live, is sadly in need, particularly on the entrance exit, which shouldn't be our only one, but who worries about covenants? And it's bad news. It's patched and it tears away and creates a pothole, and you have only the lane to ride in where the pothole is. Whether you're going to turn left or right dictates. So do you have some type of a 5-year plan on doing road work throughout the town?
So, yeah, it's probably maybe a little bit longer than a 5-year plan. So basically what happens is every February, our township engineer goes out and personally investigates any road that was complained about in the past 12 months, from emails, calls, Facebook Live, and then she checks with our DPW, our police, and then she goes across the street to the post office because they drive our roads, and then she compiles a list of what roads she needs to go look at. She does that in February. And then she comes out of that with the 26 worst projects, A through Z. That's why she picked 26. And out of that, she requests the funding for the design of those roads. Once you're on that A to Z, you don't get removed, but you might be, let's say you're G one year, but you don't get funded because they only do A through F. You might not be A the next year, even though you were G, but you'll still be on the 26 because she goes out and evaluates every February. So it's longer than a 5, because those roads are on there sometimes more than 5 years. And any roads that are on there that she already investigated, she goes back out to make sure they didn't get any worse. And then what happens is she requests the funding for all of them. Usually 8 or 9 get funded for design. That design, so for example, council just passed the capital budget in 2022 in June. So you're allowed to start spending that money in July. So for 2022 and 2023, it gets designed. In 2024, it'll be on the list of her requesting for the construction, and it may or may not get reached. If it doesn't, then 2025, it should get reached at that point. So that brings you out that many years, plus the roads that are already there that she's been tracking for the 3 or 4 years before that. So it's longer than a 5-year plan.
I suggest that you think about using caucus meetings to present things like this as soon as the 5-year plan is drawn up to us, the payers of the taxes that do this.
Thank you. Anybody else from public? Yes, sir.
Larry Reed, 475 Normandy Drive. On Flag Day, I want to thank the council and the mayor and the administration for putting this resolution together. And I'm sure the veterans, if they do get a property tax increase, would be deserving, and it's appropriate because there's a lot of money in the state treasury, as you're probably well aware. And a big portion of the increase in the receipts that the state is seeing is in what's called the Property Tax Relief Fund, which as of the end of April was running $5 billion ahead of the prior year's receipts. And that's where the veterans' property tax deduction comes from. So there's plenty of money. As I enumerated the last time around, the state moves it out of the property tax relief fund and over to the general fund at the end of the year. It's inappropriate. We did get a county resolution as well, and I thank the mayor for talking to state legislators to try and move this along. You know, this is the time of year to do it. We have Memorial Day, we have Flag Day, we have 4th of July coming up, and it's an important issue. Thank you for putting the resolution together.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Forrester. Foster, sorry. Oh, you're laughing.
I've been called worse, don't worry. Sometimes truthfully. Sam Foster, Chico Drive Brick. Quick question for you. This is about the liquor licenses. I wanted to know, is the amount of, I want to phrase this properly because well, first of all, when we put up a liquor license for sale, that amount of that revenue from that, all of that goes to the township budget? Or is there anything that is deducted for like service fees or anything like that? You know what I mean? The liquor licenses? If you sell a liquor license for, I don't know what it is right now, it's, what is it, 250,000 or something like that, or 100,000, I don't know.
Probably a lot more. Yeah, it goes to the township.
All of it, so there's no fee, okay, so I was just trying to get a grasp on how much revenue we're getting from that. And is the amount of money that we're charging for the liquor licenses, is that more or the same from last year?
You're talking about for like the renewal fee for these?
Yeah.
You're not talking about a new liquor
Yeah,
license? You're talking
what
about
is listed on the budget here? I mean,
The renewal
resolution.
fee is the same this year.
I'm sorry, who's just spoke?
That was me.
Oh, there you, okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry about
The
that.
renewal fee is the same.
They're all the
from
same?
last
Okay,
year.
that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from public, please? Seeing none, close public, roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to our computer bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $2,384,414.36.
And a motion in a second.
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Open to public for questions on the computer bill resolution. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Abstain Teamsters, yes to the rest. This brings us to our manual bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $1,845,869.86.
Thank you. Can I get a motion in a second?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Open to public for questions on the manual bill resolution only. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to our public comment.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Go ahead, Mr. Sluka, go ahead. Yeah.
Good evening. Nice to see all 7 people here, huh? I'm going to read my letter. John Sluka, 950 Sylvia Court. I dated this, when did I date this? May 31st, I guess. I guess it was around there. Dear Mayor Ducey, Council President Vincent Menachino, and all councilmen and councilwomen, as well as all elected and appointed officials of Brick, the residents, and the workers. I have 2 items that are basically, in a way, health-wise at least, related. So here's the letter. I know after the Texas school massacre, the main concern may be the safety of school children, and this should be a prime concern. Our leadership should ensure that the school board and school administration should be on board with the town's administration and police department. The town's mayor and council, although not in charge of the school system, must develop plans in alignment with the Board of Education to guarantee that all procedures for the safety of our students are in place. School safety must be a priority, not necessarily for the politicians that try to make political points, but for the parents, grandparents, citizens, and the children that need to know the town is doing its utmost to protect its young residents. With that in mind, however, we all must be aware that a crackpot with a gun, a knife, a bomb, or anything else cannot be controlled, but we must do whatever is necessary to ensure that all our citizens are safe and healthy. The second point was the environmental destruction that causes lung and heart ailments among many of our residents, continues to plague Brick residents and Ocean County residents as well, and it continues to be a major problem. Our citizens, including all our school children, face the toxins forced upon them by the New Jersey Turnpike Authority commissioners. The residents that live in and around the destruction of the Garden State Parkway continue to have health problems. There is so much proof from studies that has been published in so many magazines that the ill effects of these toxins cannot be denied. The Garden State Parkway widening project over 10 years ago, which has ruined the environment and harmed our children, seniors, workers, and residents, becomes more and more apparent. 20 feet high safety and noise barriers are needed in many areas such as Evergreen Woods, Greenbriar, Brick High, Cherrywood, Briar Mill, Town Hall, Lanes Mill School, Pinewood, Sutton Village, and in fact many other areas of Brick and Ocean County. Along with the safety and noise walls, vast forestation needs to be replanted to lower the incidence of so many diseases on our citizens. All Ocean County residents, many of the Monmouth County residents, are impacted daily. So these residents of Evergreen Woods, Greenbriar, Briar Mill, and those other areas all in Brick need the town's administration to step up and legally force the New Jersey Turnpike Authority commissioners to construct this at least a 14-foot but 20-foot wall to alleviate the pollution, the noise, and continued safety, plus a combination of additional shrubs, forestation to curtail some of the damage that they have caused. Thank you for your time, and I yield back a minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Ms. Cole.
Nan Call, 18 Greenbriar Boulevard. There are several different things which come to my mind. In fact, I'd like to take advantage of the minute and 30 seconds Mr. Sluker advanced. And I'm just going to go through as I see them because I never think of them ahead of time. I am going to ask this question over and over until I get a decent answer. What part of the meeting tonight is the caucus meeting? And you might want to defer to the attorney that is serving us tonight, Mr. Keneally. I know him well, know him to be an excellent attorney. So that's one thing. Since we no longer have caucus meetings, even part of this meeting isn't, I suggest that you start having caucus meetings in which you get the townsfolk together to come in, and in the words of Mayor Koch, who once was my mayor, how are you doing? We'll tell you if you ask us, and it won't be a pretty printout. There is an annual bill resolution. I had a gentleman sit next to me many years ago, I guess. Well, a couple of years. I'm here 20. And he said the manual bill, he thought the manual was like a user manual and that every 2 weeks it was rewritten. Big, thick manual. Be nice if maybe you had a meeting in which you explained to the populace what the whole meeting is about. You give us 5 minutes. You shouldn't take more than 5 minutes either, collectively. You've got all kinds of venues to present your opinions, etc. Don't do us out of the same courtesy. I came a couple of minutes late to this meeting, and I don't have my phone with me. But is today not Flag Day, and did anybody mention that? Is it Flag Day, number one? Did anybody mention it at the beginning of the meeting? No. I think it's disgraceful. Years ago, when I first started coming to these meetings, to the school meetings, to the county meetings, I held it long enough at the school meetings, and finally, after attending maybe a half a dozen or more, I said, "Don't you have the flag on the wrong side of the stage? It was over here." And one school teacher said, "Thank you for bringing it up," because I belong to an organization, and we said the pledge. It was the National Association of Active and Retired Federal Employees, and I knew that every time we pledged, it was over there, but in the school of all places. And you don't think you need to meet with the populace here and find out what our beefs are? That was a disgusting moment. They corrected it. I find tonight extremely disgusting that you have not made any special motion about Flag Day. Those days are very important to me, but I'm much older than you. And I've lived through more. I've lived through seeing people believe that the Russians were ahead of us in technology because they got a spaceship up sooner than we did. And they do have people that are better educated than many of our students, because after my buyout from what was New York Telephone, NYNEX, Bell Atlantic, Verizon, I took courses in Kingsborough Community College. And I had teachers there that were, well, they're part of the City University of New York, so they're par excellence. Colin Powell was one of them. But these things are coming back to haunt us. The Russians were ahead of us in 52 or 54, and they're being ahead of us now. Oh, in Kingsborough, I sat next to some students that were returning adults or new adults that were taking studies, and a Russian man who had Coke-thick glasses told me about how the Russians cheat on exams. He says, they can write it so small and they write it on their hand. He says, I could never read that and get anywhere. I have to study. And the Chinese are making everything. You're going to be upset if we don't do something before 2024.
Mr. Forrester.
Sam Foster, Chico Drive. 4 quick points here. First, I want to follow up on what Ms. Cole said about the caucus meetings. I know that years ago we stopped having the caucus meetings, specifically stated by, I believe it was the Republican administration at the time. Not trying to pick on them. I happen to admire and respect all of them. In fact, how much money does anybody know how much money we're actually saving by not having a caucus meeting? Because it was the savings that was specifically mentioned. I know Township also does not have a caucus meeting. In other words, is it a large enough amount of money whereby it would be worthwhile, rather than to, as Ms. Cole said, to have the meeting? Does anybody have that information, or can you give it to us in the future? Does anybody know? No? And like I said, I'm not trying to pick on the administration, but it did begin with the Republican administration. And like I said, I liked all the Republicans except for Dan Toth, but, you know, yeah, for obvious reasons. But that's one point. So if I could, I'd like to ask if we could get information to see if it is justifiable financially, if the financial savings outweigh the fact that we are not, you know, as Ms. Cole's point was. That's what we're going to say on that subject. Second thing is, where can I have tried going online. I know sometimes, years ago, I asked Mr. Scott, who doesn't come here anymore, about information, detailed information like bill resolution, computer, bill resolution manual. Where can we get information so that we can see what that actually is, so that we can, you know what it is that you're talking about? It just says bill resolution, computer, bill resolution manual, but there's nothing that tells us what it actually is. Where can we find that information online on the website? Because Tom's River has an excellent website where you can go online and find out a lot of things. If it's it could be made available as a downloadable PDF or view it online. Does anybody have any information?
The bill resolutions are all posted on the bulletin board on Friday afternoon,
On the website?
on the bulletin board outside.
Oh, here. Okay, I have to come in then, okay. Well, I live right up the street anyway, so that's not a big deal. Thank you for the information. This final point, sorry, I have something in my eye here, is on school security. We all know about the shootings throughout the country, and I wanted to, I read in the newspaper that it was announced that Ocean County has hardened, as they said it in the article, school security. Now, I don't know if they meant the Ocean County, all of the towns in Ocean County, or if it was the county commissioners. But my question to you is I know that we have had discussions on this before in the past about strengthening school security, even before this rash of shootings that we had recently, which are becoming all too common. And I wanted to know, what is Brick Township, what coordination is Brick Township doing with county and state to strengthen school security? Like, I know I went to Brick High School in the 70s. There was only one school, and we had a problem with drug dealers sneaking in. So what they did was they ended up locking the doors, and they got in trouble for padlocking the doors once too. And it was really a terrible situation there. They ended up having a police officer stationed inside the school. Are we doing anything or considering anything like, I don't know how much it costs to have the metal detectors or police officer stationed in the school, or is that being done now? I apologize. I should go to Board of Ed meetings, but I play chess on Thursdays, so that's where I go. But what is the situation as far as that? If you could update us and what coordination is going on. And I have one final question after that related to this, but I'd like to get a clarification on that. Do we have police officers in school? Yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend you go to the school board.
Yeah, so you don't really know. Okay, yeah, I guess I should.
But I can speak to it briefly, Mr. Foster. So our chief is in close contact with the superintendent of schools as well as the Ocean County Sheriff. And we have school resource officers that are present in the schools, and we also do patrols at the schools every day. So we have heightened our police presence and accessibility. And also through community policing, we have greatly enhanced our relationship with the students. So we're finding out a lot more information about where we need to be focused and who needs help and who might be in crisis as a prevention tool.
Okay.
Also, we have served as a pass-through where we took the lead on applying for a grant for $500,000 to do some upgrades in the schools.
Yeah.
So we took the lead on the application, and we've taken the lead on facilitating the closeout of that and passing through that money to the Board of Education.
Yeah, the reason I'm bringing this up is because metal detectors might be a good idea, because when I went to school in the 1970s, we had a case where a student was found with a loaded shotgun and ammunition in his locker, and he said he had it for protection, which I really didn't understand. It wasn't that bad. Thank you for bringing up about the grants, because my final question was about if there is any state or federal grant money available, and how much it is, and how that would affect our budget, because obviously the grant money would help reduce our taxes, maybe hire more police, increase their presence in the schools. By the way, are the police there, is it a constant presence like it was in the presence in the 1970s, or is it just patrols?
It's both. There's school resource officers that are in the schools, and there's also additional patrols.
Yeah, school resource officer, that's a police officer, so it's not a private citizen. It's someone who has the power of arrest.
Right.
Not
And
a
there's also security that's in place through the school district, which is separate from the folks that we send over.
But they are law enforcement.
Those are retired so the school hires retired officers, either troopers or brick. There might be others, but those are the people I know. And then we have our school resource officers in there. We have our 3 DARE officers that are in there every day in the schools. And then we have, anytime there's like a car accident or like maybe a theft report, things like that, the police officers used to just write it wherever they were. Now they are required to go to the police parking lot, or the school parking lots, and do the reports there, so their presence not only in the school but then outside the school for doing all those. So this way all that's happening.
I do see the police in the parking lot there with radar guns so it's that is a good way of having two birds with one stone, so to speak. They're
Yeah,
in the
they might just be
parking lot.
writing reports, but they could have radar too.
Well, yeah, I see 'em with the radar gun, so I know. And I see them pulling people over, that's why I know. But, you know, it's a good idea. The presence there, deter crime, and that's a good idea. Has there been any, well, actually, I think this might be more, you really don't have anything really to say as far as the, any say in, it would be more appropriate, in other words, for me to go to a Board of Ed meeting and ask them about the metal detectors. You could not address that here, correct?
No, sir.
Okay, do you know, can you tell us on the record how much money it costs to have the metal detector?
I don't have that answer for you.
You don't? Okay, because I go to Ocean County Freeholder meetings, they don't have them there, and Tom Sever doesn't have them either. So I just wondered, okay, I'll ask at the Board of Ed meeting. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Good.
Michael Brass, 15 National Ave. A little off topic, it's already been brought up in the past. A few months ago, there was a job for bamboo removal along city property. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm the victim of that issue. It was removed in December. However, it is starting to come back into my yard again. The town never inspected this. The job was done within, I want to say, 9 to 10 days, but there was no inspection. I believe you guys have a contract for 1 year with BDL where they come and spray down whatever is left. I've seen them twice, and they just walk around with a little backpack, which is probably water in there. There's a lot of bamboo that I've been removing myself. I don't think it's fair on my end. I just want this problem resolved so that I can enjoy my backyard.
So thank you for sharing. I will make sure our park superintendent is out there tomorrow to inspect.
I've left multiple voicemails with him.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I will speak to him personally.
Okay.
And make sure it's inspected. And we do have a contract with a guarantee for removal, so we will certainly address that with by design landscaping if we have to.
Okay. Any ideas when they can actually get back there, even somebody from the town to actually inspect it? Like,
They'll go out there this week. The Parks Department will go out there this week, but, you know, the bamboo removal works in almost a schedule where you can't treat it too
Right.
soon, but you can't let it go too long, which is why it's a year contract with repeated treatments throughout the year.
because I've seen him maybe once or twice back there spraying down.
Okay.
He'll just literally walk around, spray a little something, spray over here, spray over there. It's
Well,
not
the
doing
contract,
anything
he
work.
doesn't get paid if the bamboo's not removed, so it wouldn't really be worth his time to go out there just to spray water. I'm sure
Okay.
he's making an attempt to treat it, because the end of the contract, he's gonna expect to get paid. And he
Right.
gets paid if the bamboo's removed, so.
And once the whole job is done, is there any guarantee that the town is going to come and actually take care of that property? Just to maintain it? Because it will develop into a bunch of marsh again.
Right, well, we have a lot of areas that require to be mowed and landscaped, but others that we let, you know, really come into natural vegetation. So
Okay.
I'm not really sure what extent they're able to maintain it or what the plan is, if it's gonna be on the mow schedule or if it's just gonna be natural vegetation that they trim and cut back each year.
Okay.
We'll have to really take a look at that.
All right, thank you. I yield back 2.5. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from public, please? Seeing none, close public. Now we're in council comments. Mrs. Bergen.
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, thank you. Just wanted to talk about the summer, since it's almost here. We have graduations next week for the 8th graders. I guess they call it a promotion, and then the high school graduations. So I figured I'd touch in on all our activities that we have in June, July, and August. Kicking off with our Summerfest, which is, the first one is June 30th this year. It's a Thursday, of course, Super Trans Am. We have July 5th is our Autism Surf Day from 4 to 6 over at Brick Beach 3. That's a great event. July 7th is our second Summerfest. It is Stifler's Mom, a 90s band. That's followed by 7/8, which is Space Jam at Bernie Cook Park as a movie. 7/14 is our next Summerfest, which is the Benjamins. 7/15 is Soul, which is at Lake Riviera Park, the movie Soul. 7/21 is Jesse's Girl, an 80s band. 7/22, the very next night, Tom and Jerry is at Waltonowski Park, which is also known as Birchwood Park. Friday, July 29th, Clifford the Big Red Dog at Arrowhead Park. Tuesday, August 2nd, is Kids Night Out over at Windward Beach. It's going to be a huge event this year. It's always a great event. It's always a lot of stuff going on for kids to do. This year's special because it's the 50th anniversary of our police department, and we'll be celebrating them that night on August 2nd, which is a Tuesday night. The very next night, August 3rd, we have the Jukebox Legends. The next night after that, on August 4th, we have our car show, which is the largest car show anywhere in the surrounding area. August 6th, that Saturday, is our fishing derby over at Lake Riviera. The following Wednesday, August 10th, is the Function Band at Traders Cove. August 12th, Friday night, is a drive-in at Windward Beach, which is the Jungle Cruise, starring Dwayne Johnson. August 17th, which is a Wednesday, over at Traders Cove, we have the Basso Brothers and Sounds of the Street. And August 24th is Wednesday night, also over at Traders Cove, the Motown Review. So that's a summary of all the things we have going on in July and August. So come on out and enjoy a community event. These are all free, every single one of these. So come out and enjoy yourself. And I just, it was kind of touched on earlier, but I wanted to talk. Today is Flag Day, which is what that is back in 1777. It was basically the adoption of the Stars and Stripe by the Second Continental Congress. And why it's kind of special to me this year is because my son Jack is 10, and we went to Washington, D.C. over Easter break, and he got into American history big time, and for whatever reason into flags. And it's amazing how many different flags were being considered and were being flown around the nation, depending on what region you were from or what colony, soon-to-be states, that type of thing. And it's interesting, the story you can read, and he knows all about it, about how they ended up with the exact flag we have, because there was a bunch of different versions, too, of the Stars and Stripes in different places, different colors in different areas, and the stars. So it's all about, about the flag and about our country. So today's Flag Day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Keneally. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Nothing, thank you.
Madam Secretary.
Nothing, thank you.
Councilman Albanese.
Nothing tonight.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to remind everyone that the Garden Club Tour and Tea this year will be on Tuesday, July 12th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Your ticket will allow you to tour the yards of 7 homes in Brick, enjoy light refreshments, a gift raffle, plant sale, and more at the Bob Anstack Cultural Arts Center on Herbertsville Road. Tickets are $20 and are available at Added Touch Florist, Berry Fresh Farms, Brick Flower Bar, Purple Iris Flower Shop, and the Tiny Greenhouse. This is the main fundraiser for the Garden Club every year, and all the money that they raise goes back into beautification projects right here in Brick. If you've gone before, please go again, and if you haven't gone before, I urge you to give it a try. It's a lovely day out. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. I just want to congratulate all our Brick graduates this year, and I want to wish all the dads a very happy Father's Day. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pontarera.
Thank you, Council President. I also wanted to wish a happy Father's Day to all the fathers who are present, who are watching, and my father, Giuseppe Pontarera, who has my heart. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Halloran.
Nothing this evening.
Council Vice President Crate.
I'll say it again, I have nothing, sorry.
Still
have nothing.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to talk about Marguerite for a minute. The surgery she's gone through, and I don't know the woman personally, I just have family members that have gone through similar things. It's amazing what we can do medically today for a woman that couldn't stand up straight and now walked in and walked out on her own. To me, it's just amazing that they could do these things, and I want to thank her for coming and voicing for all of these people with this issue. And thank you. And our next meeting is June 28th, 7 o'clock here. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.